Happy Monday, traders, and welcome to a fresh week in markets. Okay, so the big news globally over the weekend was obviously the meeting between Trump and Putin that they had in Alaska. That happened after the market closed, so this is the first opportunity now, Monday, that the market can react to what happened there. Firstly, the market did not expect that some sort of peace deal would happen on this first meeting. However, we did get a lot of positive headlines, both from Trump and from the Russian side, that it was a very positive meeting. So that's a plus. So it seems like it is a big step forward towards peace. This is a very fluid situation, and it is moving quite quickly in that Zelensky is going to the White House today, Monday, and also the chief of NATO. So I would imagine that today we are going to get more of an idea of exactly how close we are to peace. But having said all of that, no doubt, Trump desperately wants peace, so you know that he is going to be pushing Ukraine as hard as possible. But again, yes, headlines tonight certainly can be market moving on the back of this. But okay, Monday's open so far to these positive headlines. We are seeing markets open, risk bid. Equity markets, S&P and Nasdaq. S&P's up about 20 points from Friday's close, so yes, marginally up, and it is trading about 20 points from almost record highs, so very elevated levels, and a stone's throw away from 6,500. The market that's probably moved the most on the open so far is crude. So crude's down about 2% from Friday's close. Now crude, obviously, if we do get a peace deal, we're going to see Russian sanctions lifted, so a lot of Russian crude back on the market, increased supply, just economic 101, that you get price lower. Crude lower is a big deal. It's basically a tax on everyone globally, so when that goes lower, it also means potentially lower inflation, and the central banks can cut rates, so market does cheer when crude goes lower, and especially if it's trading sub $60, which obviously is something that could happen if we do get those peace headlines. So the crude traders at the moment are probably the most wary about something happening here. Gold is opened a touch lower. We opened up, closed on Friday around about 33.35, and so far we've traded about $10 lower. There was a bit of technical support around that 33.30 area, so losing that potentially is significant for bears. The real support levels, though, are quite a way down below market, around that 32.80 area. So if gold does sell off, it could sell off about $50 before we see it coming into decent support. But no doubt, if there are positive peace headlines, I'd expect gold to be trading lower. Euro certainly hasn't done a lot on the open. It's trading around that 1.17 area. But if the peace headlines came, there would be a big deal, and I'd imagine that you would see Euro trade up towards 1.18 with a bullet. So look, yes, the big risk for traders today, and the whole market will be waiting for this, is those headlines coming out of the meetings tonight in the US. Okay, so moving along, this week is a pretty quiet week as far as top tier economic data is concerned. But what we do have is some central bank action. We do have the Reserve Bank of New Zealand, the RBNZ, on Wednesday. Market does expect the RBNZ to cut rates from 3.25% down to 3%, so by 25 basis points. But we are getting down to neutral rates, so at the end of the RBNZ easing cycle. And if we do get comments from the RBNZ that the bar for any more rate cuts is very high, then potentially that is not going to be bearish Kiwi. If you are going to that meeting short Kiwi, that may not work, and you might see a complete opposite and see actually a spike on that news. But definitely they are super close to neutral rates. The big central bank action though is going to happen in the US once a year. They have the central bank symposium at Jackson Hole in Wyoming once a year, and generally this has been a big market moving central bank event in that we do get Powell speaking, and he'll be speaking on Friday about monetary policy. Market is expecting at the moment for the Fed to cut rates in September. That's their next meeting. And at the moment, Fed Fund futures are priced in 85% probability of that. So the market really needs for Powell to communicate that he is on the market side and he's open to cutting rates. But then again, Powell has been super stubborn. If he still thinks that he still needs to see a bit more data on the inflation side, and then also he's going to get another employment number before that Fed meeting in September, just to see whether or not that labour market is as weak as those revisions that really got this rate cut, chorus from the market, happening. Then potentially we might see a big repricing in the Fed, and that obviously would be very positive for US dollar, positive for bond yields, and obviously negative for risk in equities. Look, don't know what Powell is going to say on Friday, and I don't think anyone does yet, so it will be very interesting to find out, and no doubt, look, market could go quiet going into Friday. It is summer in the Northern Hemisphere, and just waiting to find exactly where the Fed is placed for this September meeting. Anyway, as we started off, all action for the start of the week is 100% going to be related to what is happening with Russia, Ukraine, and potential peace. Good luck with your trades, and we'll catch back in with you shortly.